Welcome! These series are aimed to guide you and give you the basic knowledge to start planning and making your own ideas into real videos. Unlike the old days, today it is easier than ever to create videos. You can even start making them with your phone in high-definition quality. Let's talk about a few things that can make your videos more interesting and effective. Filmmaking has its own language that helps team members communicate during production. Without going too deep, let's start with the basics. In production, a shot is the moment that the camera starts rolling until the moment it stops. A frame is a single image of a video. A scene is a dramatic part of a story at a specific time and place between specific characters. So, a scene is created using a number of shots. Types of shots. A camera shot is the amount of space that is seen in one shot or frame. Camera shots are used to demonstrate different aspects of a film setting, characters, and themes. Using them, the filmmaker can manipulate the audience's field of view. As a result, camera shots are very important in shaping the meaning of a film. Let's start with the basics. The first basic type of shot is the long or wide shot. In this shot, the subject takes up the full frame that is used to show the location, the time of the day, the weather, the setting. It normally shows the human body or other relevant objects significantly embedded in the surrounding environment. There will be very little detail visible in the shot, as it is meant to give a general impression rather than specific information. Second comes medium or mid shot. This is the most common type of shot. A medium shot frames a character from the waist up, appropriate when there is no emotion or any other intensity, and provides space for hand gestures and small movements. Medium shots give the viewer a partial view of the background and also the subject's facial expressions in the context of their body language. Think of it as a real-life conversation. Next big category is close-up. Here, the face or any other part of the subject takes up most of the frame. Very good for showing details. This emphasizes their emotional state. The viewer is drawn into the subject's personal space and shares their feelings. Here, the focus is on the subject, unrelated to the surroundings such as background, time of the day, and other information. These three basics are essentially what you need. The following types of shots are actually subcategories of the above. Establishing shot. It is always the first shot of a scene. An establishing shot introduces a new location. The audience can see all the relevant characters in the scene. It doesn't necessarily mean that we see the character's full body, but just a display of the elements needed for a scene to function. Extreme long shot and very long shot are the most common types used. Extreme wide shot or extreme long shot. Our subject here is not visible, but we see its surroundings and the individual body is of very little relative significance. Very wide shot or very long shot. A very wide shot is between an extreme long shot and a long shot where our subject is much closer than the extreme. Here, we emphasize on the subject's environment. Both extreme long shot and very long shot contain a significant amount of information, such as weather conditions, time of day. They contain more information than long shot, given that the character is less significant. Therefore, these shots are often used as establishing shots. Two shot. Because the frame here is similar to a mid shot, a two shot can be considered a subcategory of mid shot. Basic difference: there are two subjects. This shot encompasses a view of the two subjects and their correlation. The subjects do not have to be necessarily next to each other, which is very often the case. Here, size matters, whereas the larger subject is dominant. One more type that can be considered a subcategory of mid-shot is the over-the-shoulder. It is a shot of someone or something taken from the perspective or camera angle from the shoulder of another person. The back of the shoulder and head of this person is used to frame the image of whatever or whomever the camera is pointing towards. This type of shot is very common when two characters are having a discussion or during an interview. Medium close-up. This is halfway between a medium shot and a close-up. This shot shows the face more clearly. It frames a subject's head and cuts off around mid-chest. This shot shows the face more clearly without getting uncomfortably close. Extreme close-up or detail shot. The shot is used to show extreme detail. The information the viewer would get from this type of shot would not be visible in another type of shot. It frames just the person's facial features and shows the person's emotions. For objects, it frames only a portion of the object or small objects as a whole. Duration of shots. Choose the duration of each shot and manipulate the film atmosphere. The length of shots is an important consideration that can greatly affect a film. Shots with a longer duration can make a scene seem more relaxed and slower paced, whereas shots with a shorter duration can make a scene seem urgent and faster paced. Change of shots. When you want to change from one shot to the other, do not pick a shot that is giving similar information with the previous one. Choose to jump from a shot that gives information of the subject to a shot that gives information about the context. When setting up a scenario, changing between wide shots, medium shots, and close-up shots involves making decisions based on the story that needs to be told. For example, medium shots can be used to establish a scene and capture the overall action, while close-ups can be used to draw attention to a particular character or element within the scene. Cutaways. Cutaways are a widely used filmmaking and editing technique. A cutaway shot is a supplementary shot that cuts away from the main action to indicate something else in the space, such as an object or location. It can be used to provide context and break up the sequence of shots. Camera movements can also be used to transition between different types of shots, such as panning, a horizontal movement in which the camera moves right to left or vice versa from a central axis. Tracking, the process of locating a moving object or multiple objects over time. And tilting, a technique in which the camera stays in a fixed position but rotates up or down in a vertical plane. So, what did we see in this first video? We saw some basic filmmaking vocabulary, the basic types of shots, and a few subcategories. We got a first glimpse of what each of them mean and how to use them. You can now go on and watch again the last episode of your favorite TV series, but this time make some notes by pausing and studying each scene within the first scene. What was the establishing shot like? What were the durations of the shots? What kind of changes were made between shots? This is a very easy and helpful exercise that you can do anytime you watch anything from now on. The next video is about how to write a story and how to make a storyboard. Are you ready?